Imagine a place where time seems to have stood still, where vast plains stretch as far as the eye can see, and lions roar at sunset. A country where wild nature dictates the rules and ancestral traditions still shape people's lives. This is Tanzania, one of the most fascinating and unexplored territories in Africa. But in addition to the epic landscapes and rich culture, there are customs that may seem unbelievable to those who see from outside. Did you know that in some communities in Tanzania women are traded for cows? Yes, it happens, but the story goes far beyond what it seems. This tradition, rooted for centuries, carries deep meanings and arouses heated debates. But is this the true essence of Tanzania? What do these practices reveal about the culture, values, and way of life of these people? In the next few minutes, you will dive into a universe unknown to many. Let's go through remote villages, meet impacting stories, and discover the secrets of one of the most wild and amazing countries in the world. So, if you like content that transports you to other realities and challenges your worldview, already subscribe to the channel, leave a like and activate notifications, so you don't miss any detail of this unforgettable journey through Tanzania. Now, let's start. The wild heart of Tanzania. Tanzania is a place where nature dictates the rules. Here, the days are marked by the rhythm of savannas, where herds of elephants walk freely and lions hunt under a reddish sunset. The country is home to some of the most impressive landscapes on the planet, such as the Ngorongoro crater and majestic Mount Kilimanjaro. But it's not just the wildlife that makes Tanzania a unique place. It is the people, their beliefs, and their traditions that make this land even more fascinating. Here, in the middle of the vast plains, tribes like the Maasai preserve customs that have passed through generations. They live in a simple way, connected to the earth and animals, and have their own relationship with modern society. In some communities, women are still offered in arranged marriages and traded for cows. To Western eyes, this practice may seem barbaric, but within the local culture, it carries a deep meaning. In Tanzania, livestock is a symbol of wealth and status. Having many cows means power and respect. When a woman is offered in marriage, her value is measured by the number of cattle that her family receives. But this tradition is not just a commercial transaction. It represents a bond between families and a commitment to support and protection. However, with the influence of the modern world, this practice has been increasingly questioned. Many young Tanzanian girls dream of a different life. Education has become a gateway for those who want to choose their own destiny. With the arrival of NGOs and social programs, some girls are managing to break free from this system and redefine their role in society. Faced with this clash between past and present, Tanzania is at a time of transformation. Life in the villages continues to follow traditions, but the wind of change is blowing ever stronger. What does the future hold for this enigmatic country? The power of tradition in many parts of Tanzania, culture is passed down orally, from parents to children. Ancient stories tell of brave warriors, nature spirits, and the importance of maintaining one's identity. For traditional communities, breaking with these practices is not only a social change, but also a play on the essence of what it means to be Tanzanian. The Maasai, one of Tanzania's best-known tribes, are a living example of this cultural resistance. Their vibrant red clothing, hypnotic dances, and rites of passage have captured the attention of the world. But what few realize is that within these traditions lies a deep-rooted system of values that define roles and responsibilities within the community. The exchange of wives for vacations is a reflection of this system. For the Maasai, marrying off a daughter means ensuring her security and stability. The husband has an obligation to prove himself to her and her children, and the cattle given to the bride's family symbolize this commitment. But this practice is under increasing pressure as young Tanzanians begin to question whether the past should really define the future. Tanzania, between modernity and tradition, finds itself in a delicate balance. The challenge is to preserve its identity without ignoring the desire for change of its younger generation. The question remains, is it possible to find a middle ground between respect for tradition and individual freedom? The impact of social change. With the arrival of globalization, Tanzania is undergoing an unprecedented transformation. Young people who once accepted their traditions without question now have access to the internet, education, and new life perspectives. Many of them no longer see arranged marriage and the exchange for cows as an inevitable fate, but rather as a choice that can and should be rethought. Tanzanian cities such as Dar es Salaam and Arusha have become centers of social change. In these places, women are occupying spaces that were previously denied to them, entering universities, opening businesses, and participating in debates on gender equality. This movement generates a cascade effect that reaches even the most isolated villages, creating a clash of generations between those who want to maintain traditions and those who wish to break these cultural currents. However, the change does not happen in a homogeneous way. While in cities the mentality is changing rapidly, in many rural regions of Tanzania resistance is enormous. For older people, changing traditions means disrespecting ancestors and putting the social structure of tribes at risk. This difference of thought has generated conflicts within families, where parents and children see the world in completely opposite ways. In some villages, young people who refuse to accept arranged marriages are rejected by their communities, showing how deeply rooted these practices still are. Still, resistance to change is strong. Many community leaders fear that abandoning traditions will lead to the loss of Tanzanian cultural identity. For them, the exchange of women for cows is not a simple custom, but a fundamental part of the social structure of tribes. This clash between progress and preservation of culture raises a crucial question: is it possible to evolve without losing roots? The challenges of women in Tanzania. Women's lives in Tanzania are marked by challenges that go beyond the tradition of bartering for cows. In many villages, access to education is still limited, and girls are encouraged from an early age to prepare for marriage rather than dreaming of careers or independence. For them, breaking this cycle means confronting not only their families, but also the entire social structure that sustains these customs. However, some Tanzanian women are challenging these norms. Youth-led movements have spread across the country, bringing a new look at women's role in society. Inspiring stories of women who fought against traditions and conquered their freedom begin to emerge, proving that change is possible. Some of them managed to escape arranged marriages and now work as teachers, doctors, and entrepreneurs, showing new generations that there are alternatives. But this transformation does not happen without resistance. In some communities, women who refuse to follow traditions are seen as a disgrace to their families. The fear of social rejection keeps many people stuck in a system that prevents them from exploring their true potential. Tanzania faces a dilemma: either allow its traditions to remain unchanged, or give women room to choose their own paths without being punished for it. The solution to this impasse may be in balance. Some local initiatives have been working to adapt customs in ways that respect both women's cultural roots and their rights. In some tribes, the practice of barter for cows is being reinterpreted as a kind of voluntary dowry where women have power over their future. These small changes indicate that Tanzania may be heading into a new era. The future of Tanzania. Between tradition and change, Tanzania is a country that breathes history and nature, but also finds itself in a moment of transition. As younger generations begin to question the norms imposed by the past, the country finds itself at a crossroads: embrace modernity or remain faithful to its roots. This decision is not simple, because each choice brings consequences that can shape the future of the entire nation. On the one hand, there are those who defend the total preservation of traditions. For them, the Tanzanian culture should not be changed by external influence, because it is what defines the identity of the people. These leaders believe that practices such as the exchange of women for cows should not be seen only as an old custom, but as a social pillar that has sustained community organization for centuries. For them, Change means losing what makes Tanzania unique. On the other hand, there is a growing movement calling for evolution. Young Tanzanians, especially in the cities, see education and freedom of choice as fundamental rights. They do not reject their origins, but believe that tradition and progress can walk together. For them, the real challenge is not just to preserve the past, but rather to build a future where everyone can decide their own destiny. The world has its eye on Tanzania, and the changes taking place there can serve as an example for other African countries facing similar dilemmas. The question is, will Tanzania be able to find a balance between tradition and modernity? Can this fascinating and wild country continue to honor its ancestors without preventing its new generations from choosing their own paths? Tanzania is a country where the past and future meet in a silent duel. On one side, traditions that have crossed generations, shaping the identity of a people. On the other, a new mentality that questions customs and seeks a different path. This wild land, rich in culture and history, continues to evolve, and every day new chapters are written in this silent but powerful transformation. Tanzanian women, once seen only as part of a negotiation, are now beginning to become owners of their own choices. In some villages, they are still exchanged for cows, while in others, they already occupy previously unimaginable spaces. The struggle for balance between tradition and change is arduous, but Tanzania proves that transformation does not happen overnight. It comes in waves, in small acts of courage, in voices that were previously silenced and now begin to echo. What does the future hold for Tanzania? Will this country be able to preserve its cultural identity without imprisoning those who desire a new destination or modernity? Inevitable as the sunrise over the African savannas, will end up changing forever what it means to be Tanzanian. These questions still have no definitive answers, but one thing is certain: Tanzania continues to fascinate us, challenge and teach that no story is simple, and every tradition carries more than the eyes can see. If this journey through the heart of Tanzania made you reflect, now it's your turn to be part of this conversation. Leave your comment below and tell me, do you believe that tradition and modernity can coexist? Your opinion is essential? And if you like to explore amazing stories like this, already subscribe to the channel, activate the bell of notifications and leave the like. Thus, you help us to continue bringing content that expands horizons and take you to the most fascinating places in the world without leaving home. See you in the next video.